What
Right.
they did,
Mm,
they went to her and said, "Hey, we're having a big change. Obviously, you know we're going to IPO. You're
mm,
not fully qualified to do the role, but options are we could do this. Or here's our second option we want to do. We're going to give you 6 months full pay, plus notice, plus all your equity fully vested to leave with immediate effect." They
whoa.
paid her out. And that's what Netflix does because they realize that top talent, and she took it and was delighted. And she was like, "That's not what I want to do. I don't want to be a CFO. I'm really happy in the scrappy early stage spaces. That's where I perform the best. I will take the money, leave, and we'll go off and find something else." And Netflix became really, really famous for doing that. That they would basically go to people and say, "Hey, you've hit your bar. You've been amazing. Here's 6 months pay. Thank you very much. See you later."
Wow.
Um, and I think what they brought to the market, which is something that I actually kind of really resonates with me, in particular in startups and scale up organizations, is you will get people that hit a level, and however hard it is, they're not going to go to the next level, or that's not even what they want to do. And so giving them an option rather than putting pain on the organization, pain on the individual, stress, mental health issues, breakdowns, sometimes it's better to have a deep conversation and go, "This is what we need. Can we get you there? If not, thank you very much. Here's the door." And I think there
Mm,
is a real big benefit of that in a lot of ways. Yes, it may well sound
mm,
really harsh, but actually there's a lot of benefit in it because the person, and in that situation at Netflix, and Netflix have got hundreds and thousands of stories like this where they
mm.
go, "Great, thanks, that's not what I want to do." Because you get loads of people that really invest into early stage startups or they prefer life orgs or wherever it is. And so getting the people that fit within the structure it is, but also means you're empowering your top talent to be even better at what they do. And I think that's the key message.
Right. Okay. Um, I think you've already covered this area of leverage and leadership and brand awareness.
Yeah.
Just to kind of like, give people time to ask questions. So we just go to the next, which is a streamlining recruitment process. If you just go through, I know
Yeah.
you've explaining
I've
that
I've gone
a
through quite a lot of this. I
lot.
think
Yeah.
for me, the
Mm,
big things I would kind of touch on is if you're a recruiting leader, like really understand your data. Like look at your kind of key data metrics around time to hire. How long is it taking you to hire? That's not really a deep metric, but it's
mm,
a navigator to tell you around what's working, what's not working. There will be roles, and in particular execs and really niche roles that are going to be long. Strip that out and go for the basic roles, where do we need to be at? And that tells you if you've got an efficient recruiting process or an inefficient recruiting process. You then want to start looking at, for example, your interview ratios, your offer acceptance ratios. You want to start delving deep around how long is it taking for each step in the process to happen. So how long, what's the waiting time from like a recruiter screen call through to interview process? If that's really long, why is that long? Like, what is it? Because we all know, and certainly in every market, whether it's a good market or a bad market, speed to hire and that speed between each step in the process is key. The longer that is and the more drawn out that is, the chances are your candidates are going to withdraw from the entire process.
yeah.
There are some really good tools to help you do that. So, if you're in-house, make sure you've got an ATS or an applicant tracking system that tracks your candidates that will then give you the data that help you to understand. There are some great um, interviewing kind of tools. You've got like Equitas, MetaView, ScreenLoop is another one. Fundamentally, these tools will help you to run better, much more efficient and fairer interview processes. So they kind of record the interview process. They give the interviewer kind of hints and tips and the interview process, kind of questions they should be asking, etc. It's also like a note-taking system, so it records on notes. It means as interviewers, you don't have to record your notes, you don't have to record them, etc. They're really good tools because it helps you to understand, interviewers who could be better, who needs to do better around that stuff.
Mm,
Um, and then some of the other tools is like there's sourcing tools out there. So like if you're in-house, like maybe have a look at like Source Whale, which
mm,
automates a lot of that. Key tools again, basic one, LinkedIn Recruiter or LinkedIn Sales Navigator is another really good one to have because it gives you that insights into what's going on in the market space. But yeah, there are hundreds of different tools out there that can do it. It's about making sure, understanding what you need and what's the end outcome for that for you as a business.
Okay, thank you so much, Richard. Now I think we got some questions. I can see about 3 questions. So this is a Q&A session. Just go to the first question. I hope, let me stop sharing, sorry, because I think just, okay. So what are the key, so I got a question here from Tony Ade. So what are the key components of a creative compensation packages beyond base salary? I know you've
Yeah, so I think I loosely touched on some of those. So you've got like sign-on bonuses, bonuses depending on like key metrics are hit. Again, it depends on the roles. If it's sales, you will have bonuses in there, but then you kind of think around, if you hit key milestones, key aspects, you can add in different parts. Stock options is another one. So again, depending on your organization, that's another one. You've also got your additional benefits. You should be kind of selling those. You should, as an organization, have some good benefits. Your time off leave, work-life balances. If you get like subscriptions to Calm. If you're a US company, 401k benefits are another really good one. And then pension is another one. I can sell on those, but again, they should be like those benefits ones should be standardized across the org, so that shouldn't change just because somebody else is coming in. But yeah, those would be the big ones that I was kind of throw out there as like that you've got to kind of play around with. Yeah.
Yeah, I think are the same questions was some of the creative ways to recognize and reward from Tony again. I think what he's saying here, how do you actually kind of like determine, I don't know if it's kind of like around
Yeah, I
how you
know.
call
So
it.
I think it goes back to, I think for me, what it goes back to is the performance piece. So understand what your performance criteria looks like.
Yes.
Like what is good performance, what is bottom, what is your bottom, etc. On through your calibration process and your review process, etc., etc. You can then start to allocate that out. If you are tight on bonuses and you don't have the capital, there are other free things that you can give. So, if you don't have unlimited time off, you can always give additional time off to people. You can give, I always tend to find personally experiences are something people like. Recruitment agencies, this was a big one. So people would have like £100 voucher or a paid weekend at like a spa weekend or a trip to Ibiza or Disneyland Paris or wherever it is for the family. If I'm genuinely honest, from talking to people, and even I've had those experiences, I remember the experiences more than the bonus and how much the bonus was that year, and then what I spent my bonus on. So sometimes you can play around there. If you've got potential wiggle room within the organization, maybe look at experiences like, go for a fine dining, pay for people to go to a fine dining restaurant or Michelin star restaurant or pay for them to go away somewhere. That stuff will be way more powerful than actually giving them a £5,000 bonus in a lot of instances.
Let's go on to the last question. Yeah, this is from Thomas. It's saying, aside of long-term experience, what other parameters can you use to determine in hiring for leadership position in a company?
I'm assuming that question is just relating to what it is you're looking for. And I think for me, I'd probably say I've probably almost like covered that off. which is, you need to understand why you hire in this role, what it is you want that person to do, and then who is the person of that background. Because I think if you've got that nailed down, experience doesn't really come up into it. Because that what you want them to do and who is the person, you want to move away from having the conversation just purely on experience. You want it, okay, what's the background of the person? What company do they come from? What roles have they done before? Why this type of role? If you start to get that understanding, you can have a way more bigger understanding around the requirements and where it is specifically you're looking for.
All right. Well, there's no other questions yet, as far as I can see. Thank you so
There's
much.
one from Joel. There's just one from Joel, just on employer branding.
Okay.
So the question is,
Sorry. My apologies. Yeah, there's
that's all right.
more
What's the
questions here.
most effective
Yeah.
ways of promoting your company to attract potential
Yes.
candidates?
Hmm.
A very simple one, which I don't think anyone does, is get your employers on LinkedIn social media sites to talk about their experience there. Get them promoting, get internally, get your people talking around what they do and how they get there. There is a real big shift now within employer branding on content and content creation. And what I mean by that is you're seeing now some really, really big organizations. I'm saying big organizations, most are in the startup space, where there really is to be very active and very prominent on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Instagram, on TikTok. Reason being is the more people see them or aware of them, they see them coming from these organizations, and in particular in like millennials, Gen Z, that will soon be hitting, and Gen Z that are now entering the workforce. They're relying on brand and almost like content creators per se as an element of trust. And so the big simple thing that's completely free, you can just get your employees to do that, and that will really help you very, very quickly. There are loads of other stuff, but I think that's one that I don't think organizations are doing enough of, and legacy organizations are not doing enough of.
Just finally, Thomas, also, it says frequently asked questions can be, what is your salary expectations? And please advise what is the most appropriate answer to this question.
That's a very good question. I know everyone asks it. There's lots of different schools of thoughts on this. You get the people who will be, which is very US mindset, which will be you don't answer it. It's kind of illegal in the US now to ask that question anyway. But they will not provide it. So a US mindset, or a very deep Western mindset, I should say, is you don't answer it. You just say competitive. What are you offering? Can you tell me what your offering is? You can get a little bit more. I'd probably say kind of UK European, which is you become very blunt and you say, well, this is what I've been on, kind of looking for this. Or you could go full Asian kind of mindset and just like actually just list out exactly what it is you're looking for. For me personally, I'm just always a big believer in just being open, honest, and frank. It just makes conversations a lot easier. Yes, that means you may well get stung potentially, as like some people call it. But I actually think if you prove your net worth and actually prove your worth through the interview process, if you know what you're looking for and you can put that in, you can always negotiate. People will always negotiate at the end. There is room for that negotiation at the end. So, yeah, probably not necessarily the best answer, Thomas, but just play it the way you want to do it. But my statement is always, it's better to be honest and frank, and also don't be afraid to ask them what the salary expectations are for the role are too.
All right. Well, as far as I can see, no further questions. Well, thank you so much, Richard. This has been really educational for me, and also insightful. And so thank you so much, everyone, who've been able to attend today. We hope to catch you on other webinars that we're going to be hosting very shortly. All right. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.